Hi. I used to think I couldn't start anything until I became her. You know, that girl, the one with her hair in slick bun and iced matcha and latte in hand, glowing skin, perfect morning routine, and a YouTube channel filled with clean beige visuals and effortless grace. But the truth is, that version of that girl kept me frozen for 5 years. I wrote scripts, I filmed videos, and then I deleted them because they didn't look like her, because I didn't look like her, because I thought that unless I was that girl, no one would care to listen to this girl. That was not true. This is the story of why I stopped waiting to become someone else's version of that girl and who I'm becoming instead. There's something intoxicating about the aesthetic, the calm, the control, the discipline. She wakes up at 5 a.m., journals in perfect cursive. She does Pilates, she eats clean, she works on her side hustle. But let's be honest, for many of us, it didn't start as a motivation, it started as a slow comparison. It started with maybe, if I buy that exact water bottle, I'll get my life together. Then maybe if I look like that, I'll feel worthy of being seen. What no one tells you is even after you get that bottle, the outfit, the skincare routine, you still might not feel like enough because you were chasing a template that was never yours. It was never yours to begin with. Also, while following these so called templates of being healthy, I started taking cold showers. Now, this is a personal experience. Hang on. 2 years back, I started taking cold showers every day, no matter how I was feeling. And just like few weeks back, I got to know that if you are a person with high cortisol, you probably shouldn't be torturing your body with cold showers. I was shocked. I thought that this is some kind of misinformation. This can't be true. Everyone promotes cold shower. Everyone feels better. How could this be true? But just for a change, I started taking warm showers again and again and again, and I have never felt this calm. In years, I've never felt this calm. Plus, I have lost 2 kgs. So, I don't know if that's a fact or not, but the only truth I know is how I feel. Chasing a version you have seen on the internet can also ruin your health. So, it's extremely important to try new things. It's extremely important. It's fine. But you also have to be very strongly aligned with yourself to know clearly what works for you and what doesn't. I can't count how many times I convinced myself that you will start your YouTube when your skin clears up, when you lose weight, when you get your goal weight, when you start making six figures, when your room looks like Pinterest. I mean, I know my room doesn't look like Pinterest right now. But I really wanted to make this video, so I did. Even after writing several scripts and filming so many videos, you don't know how many videos I've filmed in the last 5 years. They just stayed in my drafts folder in my phone, eventually deleted quietly. Not because I had nothing to say, but because I thought that this isn't that girl content. This isn't me trying hard enough to become her. And that was the real problem. That I thought I had to become her to be heard. That unless I performed a softer, quieter, more filtered version of myself, I wouldn't be taken seriously. And so I let my dreams sit in draft folders. Is that right? Does it sound right? Does it sound like something you also do? Maybe not with videos, but with something else? And don't you feel like I did a very stupid thing? If you think that, understand what's in your life that you're doing so stupidly. Here's the part that we forget to romanticize. You know, the clean girl aesthetic often hides the chaos it takes to maintain it. And for women, especially for those of us who have had to fight to be heard, sometimes it becomes less about self care and more about control. Control over our image, our mess, our voice, our softness. We start shrinking ourselves to be digestible, to become a version of ourselves that fits the frame. But at what cost? Eventually, I had to ask myself, why am I trying to fit into a box that was never made for me? The truth is, I don't want to completely reject the idea of becoming that girl, probably, but I had to redefine what she looks like for me, what that girl version looks like for me, what might work for someone else might not work for me. You have to understand that. Like, for example, let's take a very trendy example. As a South Asian girl, we were forced to develop a habit of hiding ourselves after putting oil in our hair, you know, not showing your face outside whenever you have oil in your hair. But now, because some girl in the West think it's part of a clean girl aesthetic, I cannot suddenly force myself to adopt to it as my aesthetic. I mean, there's nothing wrong with adopting it. Actually, it's more about self love and acceptance and whatnot, but I just don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable. And that is not my aesthetic. I have to find my own reason to own my own aesthetic. You have to find your personal, deep rooted reasons to own your own aesthetic, to find your own version to that girl. I had to stop chasing her version, the one which I saw on Pinterest with, as I told you, a matcha in her hand, a Vogue tote. I mean, I don't like totes. And that glowing beige minimalist outfits. I mean, I love florals. I love big chunky earrings. My version of that girl wears colorful clothes and big earrings and prefers running in park over Pilates. I do gym early in the morning, not because it's aesthetic, but because it's healthy and important for me as an actor. My version includes journals, messy thoughts, and dancing alone in her room to 2000s Bollywood soundtracks. She takes out time to read movie scripts and books that gives her a deep dive into different characters and various form of storytelling. She doesn't whisper when she speaks. She takes up her space with her voice, her mind, her joy. That is my girl's version. And most probably, that might not be what your version is. That might not be what you would do. I mean, you might not like reading movie scripts because your job role is different. I mean, think of Jess from New Girl, who embraced being quirky and emotional, or Maddie from Euphoria, who was chaotic and glamorous in her own way, or even Carrie Bradshaw, who didn't always had it figured out, but she kept writing anyway. They weren't always so-called perfect, but they were undeniably themselves. Somewhere along the line, I convinced myself that I had to earn the right to be seen, that I shouldn't show up until I was at my after version, after I looked better, after I had it more figured out, after I have figured out a particular style, after I was more graceful, more controlled, just more together. But here's what I now know: you don't have to be the final version of yourself to be worthy of showing up. Growth is not a grand reveal moment. It's not. It's not some clean cinematic before and after. It's not a montage. It's your life. It's daily. It's ongoing. It's gritty. And if you wait until you're perfect to start, you might never start at all. So, no, I'm not going to wait anymore. Not for the perfect skin, not for the perfect routine, not for the flawless version of that girl that I built in my head. Because I found my version: ambitious, messy, loud, and soft. That version. She takes care of herself, but doesn't punish herself on the days she doesn't. She grows, but slowly, but she grows. And maybe that's the version of that girl we all need to see more of. Not the flawless ideal, but the real girl who's doing her best. The one who builds her life around her own dreams, not someone else's mood board, right? All I want you to know is that you are meant to be your girl. The girl with chipped nail paint or messy shells or maybe bold lipstick at 10 a.m. The girl who's figuring it out, not for the aesthetic, but for her actual uncharted life. To help you find your version of that girl, I will be uploading a very like 3 4 minute short video tomorrow, and that will take you several steps ahead to discover your best version in just few minutes. I think this was the perfect way to start this channel. with this video because this is something that I wanted to say for a very long time. This is the Diary Unlocked, where we rewrite the rules of becoming. If this felt like a conversation you've been needing, hit subscribe and let me know in the comments. Like, what's your version of that girl? I would love to hear it. I would love to also get some new ideas. That's it. Thank you. Bye.